So imagine this, it's Friday afternoon, director calls you up and says, could you please do another revision? And could you also export it in stems so we can have a little play around with it? We are in the editing room right now. Well, if you don't have your tools sharpened at this point, you will be stuck in your studio the entire weekend. This is where a really good template comes into play. Today I'm gonna walk you through my template and how I set it up to optimize the time between musical idea and final delivery. It's not about cheating, it's not about taking shortcuts, it's about optimizing your workflow, lowering the friction, and have a final result delivered faster, better, and more consistently. Let's go. So today's topic is template. I am gonna open up my Logic template for you and show you how I set it up, what's in it, how it's routed. I'm very happy with the way my template works, but it has one fundamental downside. And if you want to know what that is, make sure you stick around to the end. So let's open up Logic and have a look. So this is what it looks like when I open up Logic. And bear in mind that this is not like a Logic tutorial. I'm going to explain like the workflow and the intentions behind my template, but you can set it up in any DAW of your choice, whatever you are working with. So as you can see, I have almost 300 tracks, and they are mostly software instrument tracks. First of all, we have what's called global tracks in Logic. And this is where you have like your markers, your tempo map, time signatures. There is a global track for chords. I use especially markers a lot because I like to mark up my cues so that I can reference certain hit points and stuff like that. So let's move into the actual instrument tracks. First of all, we have sketching tracks. And I have 4 of them. And they all have the same instrument, which is the Alicia's keys. And I have 4 of them because I have one for melody, one for counterpoint, one for chords, and one for bass. Sometimes it's just convenient to like play everything in on one sketch track, but occasionally I want to be able to sketch it out more, elaborate, and that's when it's good to have the different tracks. Then the actual template runs in score order, because that is what I am used to reading. And we have the main groups, woodwinds, brass, pianos and harps, percussion, and strings. And I have chosen to keep separate like orchestral and ensemble for all of these. Percussion is, its own thing. But just to have a look around, the actual woodwind is one of those tracks that also like sums up the outputs of the different tracks that lies underneath. In Logic, you can choose between a summing stack, it's called, or a folder stack. And the woodwinds here is a summing stack, and the other ones are folder stacks to just keep things in order. Let's look at some routing. As you can see, for all of the like individual instruments, you can see that they all have a send, and that goes to reverb. And of course, I have one reverb per stem, so that you don't feed all of your sound into one instance of the reverb. Instead, you want to set up reverbs one per stem group. And now we're going to move like a little bit backwards. So what I have is stem prints set up as audio tracks. What I do when I stem print is I, record arm all of these and I just play the track, record it. And they get fed the audio from the separate stems, which are the like summing stacks. So I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 stems in my template, which I think is, you could have fewer, you could have more. For my applications, I think I have mostly been satisfied with this. So for every group, I have also, of course, then a reverb. And the reverb I use is Valhalla Room. So these are identical. And I have an EQ on all of the reverb buses, which only takes away the bottom end and the high end. I don't like bass sounds to go into my reverb and create boominess. And I don't want the highest frequencies to reverberate as much either. So the output of all of the reverb, the different reverbs, they get fed back into the instrument stem bus. So now let's move to these summing stacks where I have an EQ. And these are identical for all of the instrument groups. They have their separate bus EQ. What I do is I have a little dynamic boost. When I mix my tracks, I make sure that I don't have like a big punch in that area. Sometimes I keep it and it sounds nice. Sometimes if I have too many instruments, all of them being boosted in the 100 hertz frequency range, it becomes too much. These I never change. I have a dip at 700, which to me is a frequency of a tinned sound, like you're talking in a tin. So I make a dip there. I make another dip at 3000 and 5000, and this is a trick I picked up from Anne-Catherine Dern, actually, and her YouTube channel. For some reason, this is where some of the syntheticness of samples sits, and I think it actually works. So if you haven't tried it, then maybe try it. I also have set up but deactivated a compressor on every stem bus. This is like a general setting, but the most important thing is that it's parallel compression. So in this case, it's a 33.5% on the mix knob. You might need to change it, but I have 4.1 ratio at a minus 40 dB threshold. All of that might need to change, but I think parallel compression gives a nice boost. It gives the music a bit more body and a bit more space. So when I go into mixing, the first thing I do is I activate the parallel compression on all the tracks. So the way I have set this up in this template is, of course, then that I can sketch my tracks with the sketch tracks that I have. I can then orchestrate it, whether it is an orchestral score or a synthesizer score. All of the reverbs are set up. They feed back into the same bus so that the reverb exports together with that stem. When I am done, I can make, I can activate my parallel compression on all of my stem buses. And in this way, I don't have to do the same basic mixing on all of my cues. If you're working on a project, chances are you might be working on 30, 40 or 60, 70 cues at once. And maybe all of them needs a couple of versions to stick. And imagine just having to set up the reverb on all of those tracks. That's years of your life wasted. The more basic mixing, the more routing you can set up in your template, the better. The choices I have made what to include is what I want to use the most. There are instruments in my software instruments collection that's not included in the template. I might include some hardware. I might turn on a microphone and record something. But the basic settings of the software instruments are all in these. This also means that I can keep a consistent sound across my tracks, within a specific project. And this is why I set it up like this. I don't want to spend time doing the same task all over again, routing the same thing all over again, setting up the same reverbs, doing the same basic mixing. I want to have it all in one place, ready to go. When I have a musical idea, I can sketch it, I can orchestrate it, I can mix it, I can stem print it, and I can send it to the production. So there's one big downside of a template like this, and that downside is it might be too consistent. If your template is too specific, your music might sound the same all the time. So what I also usually do is ahead of a big project, I tweak the template, I add new stuff, I tweak some settings, so I have a custom template for that project, so I don't go down the same road every time. I think that's something we all struggle with, to have variation in our own work. So that is a walk around of my template. I hope you found this useful. Maybe send this video to someone who is about to set up a new template and give them some inspiration. Make sure you like this video so more people can find it, and subscribe for more videos just like this one. I will see you on the next one. Cheers!